We begin with news just in from the Middle East, where Israel's Prime Minister has announced that he's asking his cabinet to approve a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah in order to end the 13-month conflict in Lebanon. Benjamin Netanyahu spoke a short time ago.
Tonight, I will bring before the cabinet a plan for a ceasefire in Lebanon. The duration of the ceasefire depends on what happens in Lebanon. We have an understanding with the United States. We are maintaining our full liberty to take military operations. If Hezbollah tries to attack us, if it arms itself, if it rebuilds infrastructure next to the borders, we will attack them. If they launch missiles, if they dig tunnels, we will attack. Yes, I can hear people saying that if we start a ceasefire, we will not be able to attack, we will not be able to resume the war. Let me remind you, this is exactly what people said to me when we entered into the ceasefire in Gaza, in which we released our hostages. People said we would not risk fighting, but we did. And how? People say to me, well, Hezbollah will lay low for a year or two, will rearm itself, and then it will attack us. But Hezbollah will commit a breach of the agreement not only when they fire at us, but even when they try to rearm themselves. For any such breach, we will react very forcefully. Why is this the right time for a ceasefire? There are three main reasons. First, focusing on the Iranian threat, and there's no need to expand. Second, refreshing our forces and rearming our troops. And it's no secret. There have been delays, big delays, in the supply of arms. And this delay is about to stop soon. We will arm ourselves with sophisticated arms that will help us protect our troops and give us even greater force to complete our missions. And the third reason for a ceasefire now, isolating Hamas. From the second day of the war, Hamas was counting on Hezbollah fighting together with it. And once Hezbollah is eliminated, Hamas is left alone.
So, an official ceasefire is not there yet, but it appears imminent now, pending approval from Cabinet. Alistair Bunkle with more reaction from Jerusalem.
Was to coincide with Israeli prime time, to hit the TV networks when a lot of people around Israel sat in front of their televisions. But at the same time, it might be slightly premature because I didn't hear him announce that a ceasefire had been agreed. I think what might have happened is he's presented the proposal to the Security Cabinet. There are reports here on citing some of the Israeli television networks that the Security Cabinet approved that deal. And now it will need to go to the full cabinet. So, I mean, we're talking here about the structure of the sort of inner sanctum of Israeli government. Now, if it has been approved by the Security Cabinet, if we make that assumption, then I think it's pretty much a fait accompli that it will pass the full cabinet, not least because some of the voices that could be most vociferously opposed to it, the likes of Itamar Ben-Gvir, the National Security Minister, perhaps Bezalel Smotrich, the Finance Minister, well, they sit in the Security Cabinet. So if it's already past their reckoning, then I think it will pretty easily pass the full cabinet. But what he didn't outline there was that a ceasefire was rubber stamped from an Israeli government point of view, and there was no detail about when it would come into play, if it comes into play, and exactly how it will shape up. It was a speech, a statement that was a justification of his achievements really over the last year and a bit, not just with regards to Hezbollah, but also in Gaza too. I think it was a statement to try and convince any skeptical Israelis, and there are many, that a ceasefire is the right thing to do and now is the right time to do it. But believe me, not everybody is on board with it. I mean, there was one phrase that stuck out to me when he said to the residents of the north, I'm proud of you. well, I'm not sure that that will land on particularly sympathetic ears amongst the residents of the north, either those who have remained or those who have been displaced and living in hotels for around 14 months. There is a feeling amongst many of the kibbutzim, both in the north and along the Gaza border, that the Israeli Prime Minister has rather abandoned them, and they feel that the job has not yet been completed sufficiently in southern Lebanon for them to return home safely. So I don't think we're at a position quite yet where we can say that a ceasefire has been agreed by all sides and it will come into play at X or Y hour, but it does seem like we are getting slowly closer.